Welcome back to Stab the Dragon Productions for episode number 91. And this is the beginning of the Texas Whiskey Tournament. So this is the Rye bracket, the first competition. The Texas Whiskey Tournament is designed as a double elimination tournament. So we'll have a winner's bracket and then a loser's bracket, giving the losers a chance to fight back. Why? Because I have so many favorites that I don't know if I'm going to be able to choose a winner. That's why. Now, if I have a tie, and I'm likely to have a tie somewhere where I really can't decide between the whiskeys which one I like the best, well then I will use price and availability to help decide the winner. And maybe some other factors might enter in. But I'm fully anticipating having some ties, and so I'm going to have some tie breakers. So I've got 9 categories of Texas whiskeys that I'll be testing. Some whiskeys will be able to compete in 2 or even 3 categories. This tournament may take about a year and a half. The contestants today, we've got Acre Texas Rye. This is an 80 proof whiskey. And we've got Blackland Rye coming in at 83 proof. So I've only got one 80 proof rye whiskey. And 80 proof seems like kind of an odd proof level for a rye. Most ryes are going to be 90 proof, I think. But these two, 80 and 83. So first of all, Acre Texas Rye. Acre Distillery began in 2015 when Tony Formby, a former majority owner of Rye and Sons Brewery here in Fort Worth, Texas, left Rye, which is one of my favorite beers here in Texas, left brewing beer to start distilling spirits. Their distillery is located south of downtown Fort Worth, but north of I-30. It's right across the street, really, from the Texas A&M Law School. Acre has probably the widest, most diverse selections of spirits of any of the Fort Worth distilleries that I know of. And it's my favorite bar to go to. They have a very nice little bar. It's small, comfortable. There's nothing big about it. It's just a nice place to go. And so it's easy for me to get to from work or home. So I've been there a few times. Now, the website and the bottle informs us that this whiskey comes from rye and barley that is grown in the Texas Panhandle, and they are malted, milled, and distilled in Fort Worth. But there's no information on the exact mash bill besides this. It says it's aged for a minimum of 2 years in new charred oak barrels. So the question is, why is this not labeled as a straight rye whiskey? I don't know. That's a question that I ought to ask at the distillery, I guess. To be a straight rye, it's got to be at least 51% rye in the mash bill and then aged for at least 2 years. It can't be blended with anything else. Is this whiskey a blend of some kind? I don't know. Some clarity is lacking here about why it's not labeled as straight rye. This whiskey is 40% ABV, only 80 proof, which is, again, odd for a rye. This whiskey, sadly, is not available in retail stores. It's only available at the distillery, and I paid $39 for it a year ago, February of 2022. I scored this whiskey when I evaluated it at an 86, but I give it an A+. Now, in my scoring system, 86 that's built on a lot of things, from availability, the bottle, the appearance, the composition, taste, and nose. Does it go good straight or in a cocktail? All kinds of things go into that numerical score. The A+ refers almost exclusively to the flavor, and this whiskey scored an A+. One of my this is probably one of my favored to win rye whiskeys. So coming up in the other corner, we have Blackland Rye Whiskey. Located just west of downtown Fort Worth, Blackland Distillery was founded in 2019 by Fort Worth native Marcus Kyprios, a local attorney, also a graduate of the Culinary School of Fort Worth. He is a certified sommelier. The distiller for Blackland is Ezra Cox, who has well over 20 years of experience in brewing and distilling. Now, there are a couple of unique things about Blackland Distillery. It uses a high-tech computerized system for distilling its spirits, and it uses an odd-sounding hybrid grain called triticale in its mash bill. So on the website or on a video that I watched from the distillery, the mash bill is 80% Texas Rye, 20% Texas triticale. So this has got that odd grain. Now, what is triticale? Triticale is a hybrid of wheat and rye. So it's, over 100 years old. I mean, Scotland did this over 100 years ago, and it's a little bit higher in protein than normal rye, and rye is a little bit higher in protein than wheat. So there you go. This is a Texas whiskey then, according to the distillery video that I watched, because all the grain comes from Texas and it's made and aged here in Texas. However, when I was doing the test on this thing, when I was doing the evaluation for the review, it does not taste like other Texas whiskeys. There's no Texas funk. What that means, I think, is that it was aged in a climate-controlled warehouse. So if you expose it to the Texas climate, then you get a strong char, smoky Texas funk flavor going on in the whiskey. If you age it in Texas but in a climate-controlled warehouse, you don't get that. And some distillers really try to keep that funk out of it. Not everybody likes that. And so I think that's what's going on here with the Blackland Rye. This whiskey comes in at 41.5% alcohol by volume, or 83 proof. Total Wine has it for sale for $26.99. Specs $29.46, and Goody Goody at $32.99. When I was evaluating this whiskey last year, or actually in 2021, I previously gave it a 73 and a B-. And that was one of my earlier reviews. I think perhaps I might have been a bit harsh in those early reviews. So if I had that review to do over again, it would probably score higher, I think. But now, let me look at these whiskeys and see if I can identify which is which according to the glass. Now, this whiskey is a little bit lighter. This is on my right. This whiskey is a little bit darker. It's on my left. If I hold up the bottles like that, I'm not sure you can tell by looking at the bottle, but with my eye, this one is Blackland, and it's a little bit lighter than the Acre. So my guess, just on a visual check, is that I've got Acre on my left and Blackland on my right. So that's a visual. So I'm going to write that down. Acre, Blackland. Nose. I can tell it's a rye. Sweet, but a little bit of the rye flavor. But I do believe I'm getting some Texas char on this. I'm getting the Texas funk. On this one, a little bit more of the rye flavor. No Texas funk, no char. So I'm definitely getting more of a rye flavor on the nose there. So again, going off of what I know about these whiskeys, I'm going to say the one on the left smells more like Acre. The One on the right smells more like Blackland. Now for the taste test. I'll start with the one on the right. Well, that's got very nice rye flavor, sweetness, but there's something else there. Man, that's good. See, I really think I underevaluated this last time. Yeah, that's got a nice rye flavor, but there's something else in there. I don't know if it's a fruit. I mean, it's sweet, but there's something blended in with that rye. And again, because I know what I'm drinking, I'm thinking that's Blackland, and I'm thinking that's the triticale that I'm tasting. But you know, triticale is a blend of wheat and rye, so why would it taste different than rye? I don't know. But the wheat whiskeys tend to be sweeter and milder, and I think that's what's going on with this. So yeah, I'm guessing that the one on the right has to be Blackland. So rye, sweet, wheat, maybe. Got to drink a little Topo Chico to clean my palate now. But if that in fact is Blackland, I really did underevaluate it last time. Because man, that's good. Yeah, that's a good rye. I would pull that up to an A minus at least. Yeah, B minus to an A minus. That's a big leap, but that was really tasty. Which I'm a rye guy. I like rye. All right, here's the one on the left, and by visual looking at it and by nosing it, I'm thinking this is going to be the Acre Rye because it's got a little bit of the Texas funk going on there with the nose. Going on for the taste. Immediately, I get hit with the Texas funk. The rye flavor is in the background. The rye is not that strong. I would say the first one, the glass on the right, has a stronger rye flavor. This one, the Texas char, the Texas funk really kind of takes over. But the rye is there. It's softer. It's in the background, and it's you know, it's got some sweetness to it. Wow. Now see here's where it's going to get interesting. I think that's going to be the Acre by taste. But here's the interesting. If you like the rye flavor, I think this one on the right has more rye flavor. If you want the Texas funk, this one's got more of that. The rye's in the background on that one. Wow. See, this is going to be so hard for me to tell which is my favorite. But I had picked Acre as the favored of these two whiskeys. And if that one on the left is Acre, as I suspect, I'm really thinking for rye, I may be preferring the Blackland. Because you definitely get more rye flavor with the Blackland. Okay. Man, I like both, but for different reasons. But since this is a rye competition, I think I'm going to go with the one on the right as having the best rye flavor. I will declare the one on the right to be the winner. That's hard because they're both good, but they're good for different reasons. So, let me look at what's on these glasses on the bottom, and I'll tell you which is which. Again, this is the one from the left. I think it's Acre. It is marked with a 1. I did that alphabetically. A comes before B, Acre before Blackland, so that is Acre. This is marked with a 2. Yep. So this is Blackland. Blackland in the first round is the winner. That I did not expect. Okay? So there you go. I really did not expect that. Well, Blackland Rye Whiskey at 83 proof will move on in the winners column. Acre takes its first round to the losers column, but I'm here to tell you there's no losers here. I mean, this is wild because Acre is so good, but it's good for a different reason other than a rye whiskey. It's good for the Texas flavor, and that means that if we have a shootout with, say, between ryes and bourbons, Acre would be a better competitor, I think, with Texas bourbons. All right, well, what's coming up next week? Next week for this Texas whiskey tournament, we will continue in the rye bracket, and we'll look at Lockwood Rye versus Oaken Eden Rye and Spire, both coming in at 90 proof. Lockwood Distillery is unique in that it has 2 locations. The original is in Richardson, Texas, suburb of Dallas, and then they have one in the hospital district of Fort Worth, which I've been to a couple of times. So that's unusual in that a distillery has 2 locations in 2 cities close by. Oaken Eden Rye is unusual in that it will compete in 3, count them, 3 different categories: rye, finished whiskeys, and wannabe Texas whiskeys, because it's a rye from Indiana, MGP. And then they finish it with the Spire. So that's what's coming up next week. We'll look at Lockwood Rye versus Oaken Eden. In conclusion, that does it for Stab the Dragon tonight. And it's January 12th, 2023. We've got a winner, Blackland Rye, for the first round in the Texas Rye competition. If you drink, don't drive. Do not over-imbibe. We don't want any drunkenness here. We believe in drinking responsibly and doing all things for the glory of God. So see you next time out here.